Ready.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, miss.
Right. If you look around, I'm sure you're seeing a lot of strange looking things on the table. Right? Can you name out some of the things that you're seeing?
Cane.
Right, sugar cane.
Rifle.
Guns, right?
Cloth.
Cloth or textile,
Whiskey.
right? What are these up here?
Jewels.
Well, jewels or beads, right? And down and way under then my William. What is that across there, William?
Pictures of the slave going on the ship and thing, miss.
Right. Now, does any of these items bring any kind of connection in your head of something that happened in history?
Yes, miss.
What?
Slave.
Slaves, right? Slaves, but I'm talking about one particular thing. The slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade. Very good. You all are very studious children here. I don't know how to fight up with this, right? But anyhow. Now, do you know what is the transatlantic slave trade? Anybody?
Miss.
Kind of. Well, share your ideas, please. Please, William, we waiting.
Miss. Miss, like the Europeans and them, miss. They used to send out ships to collect slaves so they could sell them back in the whole country, like Europe, West Africa, and the Caribbean, miss.
Right. It was a trade. Okay, let me give you 2 minutes to collect your thoughts. Everybody, think on it for 1 minute, actually. Right? Think on it 1 minute. And if you want, you can make a little note. And I want you to tell me after 1 minute what you think this transatlantic trade is. Make your little notes if you have to. You all can discuss it. If you want, you could work in pairs. So William and Tonya, you could work together. You two, Daniel, and you could work together, and both of you could work together.
Right.
1 minute. I think 30 seconds went already. Alright, so anybody have come up with anything so far?
Yes, you know something, miss.
Alright. Okay, anybody ready to give my answer yet?
Europe.
William, let me hear your answer.
Miss. Miss, the regular book so far, miss.
You can say from the top of your head, you know.
Yeah, miss. The transatlantic slave trade is a business where the Europeans.
You're going good, you're going good.
Miss, they set up voyages now, miss, to West Africa to collect slaves and bring them back to the Caribbean, other parts of like Europe and America.
Okay, that's the part where you get in a little trouble, right? Anybody else have anything else to add? Anybody? Alright, let me explain briefly, right? Well, the transatlantic trade. This is a trade that occurred between 3 major points. And William was correct. He said Europe. It started from Europe. And they went to West Africa, and from West Africa to the Caribbean, and then back up to Europe, right? But they were trading things along that route, right? From Europe, they would carry what you call manufactured goods to West Africa, right? And that was what they used to pay for the slaves, right? Because in West Africa, they didn't have as much manufactured goods as Europe would have had. And because of that lack of manufactured goods, they were able to buy slaves with those goods. So they would carry things like this, textiles, cloth, things like cloth and beads and guns, right? Because they wanted to obtain slaves, right? And this was a means of purchasing slaves, right? So when they carried these things, they were able to trade with them, with the West Africans for slaves. Now, when they leave West Africa now, their next journey was to the Caribbean, which William also said, right? And In the Caribbean, the slaves they were sold because there was a high labor demand, right? Because there was, at the time, there was the sugar revolution as well going on, and there was a demand for a labor force in the Caribbean. So this demand was fulfilled by selling slaves in the Caribbean. And the last route of the trade ended back in Europe, where they would take the sugar. You notice I brought sugar cane to represent the sugar, right? They would take the sugar that was produced in the Caribbean along with alcohol. Well, I couldn't get a rum bottle, but you have a picture there with the alcohol, right? Along with rum, which you would carry back into Europe, right? Now, I'm going to give you all some individual maps, right? And you all have to do this really quickly because time is a bit against us, right? Everybody will get your individual maps, and I want you all to map out the 3 regions that were involved in the trade. And then you will draw a line representing the actual route that was taken by the ships from each point. So you're going to start up at Europe. Are you seeing Europe on your map?
Yeah.
Right. Then you go to West Africa. Then we go to the Caribbean. And then I want you to draw a line connecting all those dots. Quickly. You have 1 minute to do that, right? You have to make sure the 3 dots connect, huh? Not just 2, but 3 dots. You see this here is Europe. You'll be coming from Europe to West Africa, to the Caribbean, and then back up to Europe. Right? So connect the 3 dots. Come on, again, yeah. Alright. Anybody completed theirs? You connect the 3 dots? You gotta connect it back to Europe. Make sure the dots, yeah, make sure it ends. That's what I was trying to get at, right? Right, from Europe to West Africa, to the Caribbean, then back up to Europe. Let me see yours, William.
I don't make it correct, eh?
That's alright, William. Very good, William. But from this angle, I can tell that it is correct. And what do you notice here? That it forms a what?
Triangle.
A triangle. And that is also the next name that they refer to this transatlantic trade to, right? They also call it the triangular trade. And the reason being is because the route that they actually took, it is shaped in such a way that you can actually form a triangle out of it if you map it out, right? But what I want you to remember today is that this trade was more or less a business venture, right? It was not something that was done to spite people. It was not something that was done because they just feel to capture people and sell them. But it was a business venture. It was for the sole purpose of gaining wealth, obtaining money and power, right? So you think you understand what this triangular trade really is, or what this transatlantic trade is?
Yeah, miss.
Right. You have any questions you want to ask me?
Yeah, miss.
Go ahead. If what? I don't think so, William. But this here was just a representation. It's not the exact thing that they would have in those days, William. I just bought a representation, right? So I hope you all understood everything, right? And I hope this helps you as well, because it's a bit of, you should have some idea now how to go about answering, well, at least this question, what was the triangular trade, right? And at least you know some of the things that were traded. Good, so everybody understand? Everybody understand?
Yes.
All right, well, thank you again for your attention. And I will be seeing you more in the future because I have a lot more 10-minute sessions to conduct. Right? So thanks again for your attention.
Yes.